up all their shit. So yeah. Anyway, any questions? Oh no, the Epstein. No, they're not. Yeah. Wait, Epstein. Who's Epstein?
Begin by thanking the people that have done such a great job at the White House. They have been doing really incredible work during a shutdown. I don't even know if they're supposed to be working, but they wouldn't miss a day. So I just want to thank everybody for that very much. And we're here today to discuss a sweeping, unprecedented, and historically successful operation my administration has carried out in recent weeks to arrest, prosecute, and permanently remove members of foreign drug cartels
You
from
have one task,
American
my
soil.
fist.
And the people gathered around this table are the ones that are doing it, and in this room. Some of them sitting a little deeper. In fact, some of them, I'm surprised, are not actually at the table. You people should be very insulted by that.
Man.
But you've done a great job back there.
Okay.
On my first day in office earlier this year, I
Time to make the undead dead again.
The drug cartels and savage transnational gangs as foreign terrorist organizations. It was my honor to do so. And on that same day, I also signed an order directing the creation of the Homeland Security Task Force to bring together all federal, state, and local partners to achieve the national policy goal of eliminating the cartel presence in America once and for all.
Wow.
And the results are, and it's early, and the results are spectacular. Led by ICE and the FBI, this task force includes the Department of Justice, the Department of War, DHS, the intelligence community, ATF, the DEA, the U.S. Marshals, and the state and local agencies in every part of our country. Other than that, we don't include too many people. That's a hell of a group, isn't it? When you think of it, that's not a group you want against you.
You are of no use.
Certainly not at one time. In addition to the task force members, we're pleased to be joined by representatives of law enforcement at every level, the highest level, actually, but every level, including National President of the
Executioner!
Patrick Young. Thank you for the endorsement, too. That really hit it off. I would have gotten 98% anyway, but it was still good to have you. Thank you, Patrick. I don't forget those things. President of the National Sheriff's Association, Chris West. Chris, thank you, Chris, very much. Great, good job. Major Cities Chief Association Executive Director, Laura Cooper. Laura, thank you, Laura, very much. Major County Sheriffs of America Executive Director, Megan Nolan. Thank you. And President of the National Border Patrol Council, my friend, and a very good speaker, by the way. Whenever he gets up and speaks, I think I can really speak. I don't want him to run for office. I want him to stay where he is. Paul Perez. Paul. Thank you, Paul.
My way.
What are you doing over there, Paul? Good speaker you are, though, Paul. Really. You do some incredible speeches.
He really just likes to talk, bro.
And all from the heart, Today you'll hear details from my national security and homeland security teams about the extraordinary historic achievements of this new Homeland Security Task Force since it became fully operational last month in all 50 states. The job they're doing. What we inherited from this past administration is disgraceful. In a matter of weeks, the task force has made the largest number of arrests of cartel leaders, operatives, and gang members in American history, more than 3,000 and counting. That includes members of the ultra-violent New Generation Cartel, the Sinaloa Cartel, the LNFM Cartel, MS-13 Cartel, and you know MS-13, the gang, and Tren de Aragua, another beauty. Group of real garbage we shouldn't have to deal with. These are, in addition to the massive numbers of dangerous criminals the administration arrested nationwide since January 20th, numbering over 120,000. It's a record.
Is that right?
And 120,000 criminal arrests. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, for 4 long years before I took office, the last administration allowed the cartels and their operatives to frankly take over our country, to freely infiltrate America and all the communities nationwide, along with transnational gangs. These groups have unleashed more bloodshed and killing on American soil than all other terrorist groups combined. These are the worst of the worst. It should now be clear to the entire world that the cartels are the ISIS of the Western Hemisphere, in addition to their monstrous violence, such as cutting off heads, burning their enemies alive,
Yeah, you see those
and
videos.
burning innocent people alive, too, by the way. The cartels control large swaths of territory. They maintain vast arsenals of weapons and soldiers, and they use extortion, murder, kidnapping to exercise political and economic control. Thank you very much, Joe Biden, for allowing that to happen. Biden surrendered he just surrendered our country to the cartels. Don't worry, it gets better. We're taking it back. It's really fast at levels that nobody has seen before. What we had to put up with, what we inherited, was just a disgrace. And while Biden was president, and he was president, I think the autopilot was president, not Biden. Nearly 100% of those who infiltrated our southern border did so because they were personally approved, they admitted they were what happened, assisted by the most dangerous and violent criminal organizations anywhere on the planet. The worst people on the planet they allowed into our beautiful country. Under the Trump administration, we're finally treating the cartels as the core national security threat that they really are. The cartels are waging war on America, and just as I promised in the campaign, we're waging war on them like they've never seen before. All you have to do is turn on your television and you'll see what's happening to them. Past administrations have tried to mitigate this threat, and our objective is to eliminate it. We're not mitigating, we're eliminating. We're getting them out. The bad ones we're putting in prison. We hate to do that because that means we're stuck with them for 50 years or more. In recent weeks, our Homeland Security Task Force has seized more than 70 tons of deadly narcotics, along with more than 1,000 illegal guns just recently. This is already the most successful anti-cartel and anti-gang operation in American history, and it's just getting started. We have incredible people. A lot of them are in this room with us today, and it's an honor to have them. But we will not stop until the threat has been fully and completely eradicated. I want to thank task force members with us today, including the person who's doing a fantastic job, Attorney General Pam Bondi. Thank you. Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. Sounds so much better than Secretary of Defense. Do you guys agree with that? We won the First World War, the Second World War, everything before and everything in between. And then we got woke, and we said, well, let's go with defense. I think we like it this way better. You know, it's funny, that's something that may be controversial, and it's only controversial that we changed the name in the first place. It's not controversial at all. It's been unbelievably well accepted.
I'm right. Yeah.
People want to have our country back.
I know.
People want to do exactly what we're doing right now. We're getting a lot of credit for it, and we should. I want to thank Pete for doing a great job. Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. Kristi, thank you very much. Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi, good job. And the heads of all of the law enforcement agencies all throughout the room. It's really amazing the job you've done. To provide additional details on our mission, I would like also to ask General Bondi to say a few words, followed by Secretary Noem, Secretary Hegseth, Director Gabbard, Homeland Security Advisor Stephen Miller. Stephen.
He's just saying whatever the fuck, huh?
Stephen. They called Stephen the other day a very bad name, and I said, you should sue them, Stephen. I think he will. I hope he does.
Oh.
FBI Director Kash Patel and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche.
Yeah,
And I just want to say it's an honor, the job we're doing, and these people are doing absolutely incredible. I'll just add a couple of things. In Memphis, as you know, the numbers are down in half already. It's only been about 2 weeks. Doing a fantastic job. They're making incredible. Nobody's ever responsible. It's really a very sick city. It's horrible what happened. People go from the border FedEx, they would drive to one block to the hotel because you couldn't walk it. And they're already feeling better about it. But the best example right now is Washington, D.C. We went from one of the most unsafe places in the planet planet, I hate to say that, in this country, will totally save Sam. Nothing's crime-free, I guess, but this is about as close to crime-free as you're going to get. And you guys have done an incredible job with that. Every one of you have worked so hard on this one. And it's our nation's capital. And people would go to the news and would go from, I always say, Iowa, Indiana. They go from Florida, they come up, they want to see the monument, I want to see the Lincoln Memorial, I want to see one of the monuments, any one of them, they go home in a coffin.
Like the Eiffel Tower, you know?
But not anymore. It's not happening anymore. We haven't had that happen in a long time. It's averaging more than one a week. One person a week. Who would think that's possible? And it hasn't happened anymore. And we have a safe city. We have a city where the restaurants are booming. People are going out. Nobody's being mugged, hit over the head with a baseball bat. None of that good stuff is done. We took out 1,700. Many of them career criminals. Many of them given to us by Joe Biden and his ridiculous open borders policy. They came in from jails from all over the world, not just California, from all over the world. Jails. They came in from mental institutions and insane asylums all over the world. Drug dealers. And we got them the hell out of here. So either that or if they're so bad, as I said before, we put them in jail because we can't take a chance that they come back. But I want to just say that Washington, D.C. is such an example of what could be done. And now the same thing's happening in Memphis. We're just halfway through the process, and already the numbers are far superior, far better than what we would have thought at this time. And Chicago, I just saw the number. Last weekend, 4 were murdered, 11 were shot. And then I have this guy, Pritzker's back. Very weak, extremely weak.
Bro, you were about to fucking...
I have Pritzker get up and say how great they're doing in Chicago. They're very cool. So 4 were murdered, 4, 11 were shot.
He stopped himself?
I was, and that was not a bad week for him. Okay, that was not a bad week. He had somewhere 18 or 19 were murdered. And you know what his excuse was? Yeah, but that was a long weekend. Okay? So you better say that was a long weekend. It was bad. And the mayor is worse. That mayor is worse. Low IQ. Very low IQ. And we don't need low IQ people. We need people that are going to take care. And I love Chicago. I love those beautiful women. Black women, beautiful women wearing MAGA hats, and they're all over the place in Chicago. They want protection. They don't care if it's the National Guard, if it's the Army, Navy, Coast Guard,
Judge,
Marine,
jury,
Space Force, okay?
executioner!
Space Force, send them in. They couldn't. They just don't want to be mugged, killed, raped, shot in the head, and we stop it. So we're gonna be given a very special. We're going to give Chicago very special care. As you probably know, maybe you heard, we were going to do a big surge in San Francisco, but I got a great call from some incredible people, some friends of mine, very successful people. Mark, everybody knows it, and Jensen, everybody knows Jensen, NVIDIA, and others from San Francisco. And they said, we're working really, really hard with the mayor, and we're making progress. Would it be possible for you to hold off the surge? And I had 4 or 5 calls, and I think they're making progress of their own. That would be the greatest. I mean, if they could do that.
So that now that Trump did it to a few places, the other places don't want to happen.
I mean, incredible confidence. Some of the smartest business leaders, and they're working very well with the police department. They're doing a good job. So we are holding off that surge, everybody, and we're going to let them see if they can do it. I think we can do it much faster. I know we can do it faster. I think we can do it better than anybody. We can take criminals out that they're not going to know about, and probably they don't have the legal authority maybe to do what we can. But I'm okay with it, and we're going to let San Francisco has the potential to be. It was a great, great city. Has the potential very quickly to be a great city again. And these are the companies that are there that are all working. And those are the people that asked me, could you do away with the surge and let's see how it works? And we'll do that. If we need to, we'll do it. But it's possible that we won't need to, and we will be focusing on other places like Chicago.
Because now they know what's going to happen.
Taken care of very quickly. But just remember, 11 people shot, 4 people murdered. okay? And that was this weekend.
They're
and
afraid.
that was Chicago. And then you'll see Pritzker get up and talk about,
Life
well,
must
they
prevail
have it under
over
control.
death.
They don't have it
Get
under
up, but
control.
yeah.
Jesse Oppett's getting worse.
Time to
So
witness
we'll
my
take care of
way.
as soon as we give the go-ahead. So all I have to do is give the go-ahead. We won the big court case the other day on the National Guard. Big case. Same thing with Portland. Speaking of that, it's where we won it. But I mean, I looked the other night, Saturday night. Portland is like burning to the ground, and these people are saying it's just friendly stuff. The whole place is burning to the ground. So we'll take care of that one. That's like an insurrection more than it is anything else. That's crazy. Portland's crazy. And then you listen to the radical left people talking about
Insurrection.
it's really okay. You're seeing things.
Isn't there an act for that?
So we're going to take care of Chicago. We're going to take care of Portland. We're going to take care of Memphis.
Yeah.
We're proud of D.C. There's nothing to take care of anymore, but we're not going to let it ever go bad. It's never going to happen again on nation's capital. And with that, I'm just going to tell you that Pam Bondi has done a fantastic job. And say a few words, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your leadership. And this is all about collaboration. Around this table and looking around this table, we all work so well together. I don't think another administration in our nation's history has worked so well together. We talk constantly, Secretary Noem, Pulte, constantly, but also all of our agencies working hand in hand, and that's why this is so successful. And these people around this table are working 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, even though the Democrats have tried to shut down the government. Terry, I'm laughing because you're around the clock, you're all over the world. The rest of the tell you're unstoppable what you're doing around this country. Gowdy Walton, U.S. Marshal, Rob Savani, and Dan Driscoll wearing your ATF hat.
More
What,
undead
Rob, I was on
warriors will
texting,
soon
Todd Blanche
arrive.
and I were on texting you at 1 a.m. on cases. I mean, that's how committed
1 in the
all of
morning.
these
That's
people
not even
are
late.
to just keeping all of our
do you
citizens
mean?
safe. And that's what it's all about. And this project
1 in
is
the
the
morning.
brainchild of Stephen Miller. And you are doing so much to keep our
man.
citizens safe, our kids safe, and get these drugs off our streets.
So it's
Like
all
Americans
Baldy's
are
master
depending
plan.
on fentanyl.
Choosing you for this
We're
mission.
working hand in hand on that. Secretary Noem spoke to me. But the results of this last month have been historic. The president said in the last month, think about this, 3,200, more than 3,200 violent gangs and drug dealers have been taken off the street. Off the street. And Reverend Kelly also have also been working so hard on getting the leadership. But we are getting all the gang members off the street and the drug dealers. Fentanyl, PJ&G, MS-13, and more, TDA. 91 tons of drugs have been seized as a result of this past weekend. We tried to put this in perspective for you. This would be still 4 18-wheelers. 4 of all the drugs just in the last month that have been taken off the street. 58,000 kilos of cocaine. Think about a big backyard swimming pool. That would fill 1.5 swimming pools. Just the powder cocaine that has been removed saved our lives this last month, thanks to all of these people around the table. 2,300 kilos of fentanyl powder and 2.1 million fentanyl pills off the street. And as the president said, more than 1,000 illegal guns. The Biden administration was, for way too long, all of these great law enforcement officers surrounding the table were not able to do their job. What they said is now they've been uncut. They can do their job now. We've been watching transnational gangs grow in our country, become organized, set up infrastructure in all of our states, but no longer under President Trump. We are destroying the infrastructure, and we're no longer on defense. All of these great men and women are on offense, so they better get ready. We're dismantling the cartels, and we are taking the leaders into custody and all of the gangs. We are going to supercharge this work. This is not a pilot program. This is firm. We are here today. Secretary Hudspeth.
Oh, they're not going to like that one.
Thank you all so over 1 million Americans to overdoses, to these cartels that have proliferated that kind
King
of a
Trump.
disease on our people and have gone
I
to
guess the
war with our
protest
next
didn't work.
generation of Americans. When you signed the executive
Yeah.
order that was protecting the American people from invasion, what you did is that you took these cartels and gangs that we've known for decades and you declared them to be what they really are, and that's terrorists. You declared war on them, and you didn't say we were just going to fight them. You said we are going to destroy them. And everybody around this table is so honored to be here to work with you
Life
to
must
destroy
prevail
these
over
terrorists
death.
that have been killing Americans for years and getting rich off of it. I'm so proud of the work that was done just in the September surge. You referenced that earlier. We had over 400 operations that went down in those first 42 days of the Homeland Security Task Force in operation that brought, as Pam referenced, 3,200 terrorists to justice, got them off the streets. Sir, we also have had over precursors and chemicals that were brought in. We've had the work at the southern border. We've got Border Patrol here at the table with you. Fentanyl has been cut down by 50% coming into this country over our borders. We've continued to work not just nationally, but internationally and on the American borders as well. The ICE agents, they have so much violence against them and threats against them, sir. They get up every day ready to work with this task force to be able to keep people safe. And then we've got Coast Guard who's been doing just a ton of our incredible interdictions out on the seas and the waters and cooperations and operations that we've targeted in the Caribbean with the Department of War. And sir, I just want to thank you for the leadership you put at the table, for your cabinet members, for Stephen Miller, for putting this in place to make sure that what you did when you consolidated the Homeland Security Task Force, you took 1,000 other task forces that were already established in the federal government and you streamlined them into this room. Into this group right here so that we can look at each other in the face every day and say, what's our problem, how do we address it, how do we fix it, and then we go to work together with our arms to do exactly what you told us to do. And that's not just protect the American people from invasion, but to kill these terrorists. You gave us the task to eliminate them, destroy them, so that they can't destroy the next generation of Americans. So thank you, sir. Thank you for the people you put around this
Thank you
table.
very much.
Innocent
Great
fishermen
job.
with
Thank you.
325
Pete?
horsepower engines.
Well, thank you, Mr. President.
Oh, here
for
we
your
go.
leadership.
Here comes the
Chief,
real
likewise,
shit.
Tulsi and Todd and Dan.
I hope they
and
let Baldy talk.
Pam and Christy and Stephen and Cash. I mean, I could go around the table. From
I
the
really
Department
want to
of
hear
War,
what Baldy has to
We are
say.
thankful and grateful for the incredible effort that your agencies put in, and we could not be more proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with you. Not superficially, not kind of over
Fight
here,
harder.
but front
You
and
are of
center
no
on
use
the
to be
Homeland
dead.
Security. Because our department spent over 2 decades holding other homelands, and we're very proud to be standing our top of the truth down to Southwest. Because we're proud of that. We're proud to be able to do it. And that executive order is signed.
Yeah. I bet they would.
The Department of War,
Especially now the weather's getting good.
10,000 troops there. We have national defense areas expanding. Border Patrol, lots of activities, 100% control. And then we're proud to go on counter-cartel. As I mentioned, these are designated terrorist organizations, foreign terrorist organizations. Our generation is the best part of country of ICE. Country of ICE. This is the ISIS.
A
This is
champion
the
has
Al-Qaeda
fallen.
of the West Indies. To intimidate, terrorize, to extort,
I do it this my way.
American people, President right, every vote we strike, 25,000
But
Americans
not today.
who lied to stay because of the
They want
foreign terrorist organization. If we get treated like we have treated Al-Qaeda, we will find you, we will map your network, we will hunt you down, and we will kill you. And you've seen that in the maritime domain, whether it's in the Caribbean or the Pacific, the last two strikes. We know exactly who these people are. We know what networks they work with, what foreign terrorist organizations they're a part of. We know where they're going, where they originated from, what they're carrying. And they know we know. And that will soon start to change the calculus of these folks. So the critique of this is, of course, as often is the case, wrong. We know our authorities. It's locked tight. and we're going to treat them like foreign terrorist organizations.
Impressive.
So the Department of War is
But
not going
can
to
you
degrade
repeat your
or
success?
just simply arrest. We're going to defeat and destroy these terrorist organizations to defend the homeland on behalf of the American people, making the jobs of law enforcement safer in the process, making the communities of
Okay.
Americans safer in the process. We think it's a very core mission of the Department of War.
They know we know.
Thank
Yeah.
you very much, Pete. Thank you. Kelsey, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
President. The key reason that
They
you
know
are
we
hearing
know.
about these incredible effects is number one, the team that you've assembled here, the leadership, and the tone that you have set. First and foremost, about keeping the American people safe. The intelligence
Do
community
not
plays a
succumb
critical
to the
role in
chaos.
support our law enforcement at the federal, state, and local level to make sure that they are armed with actionable intelligence to be able to actually go after those who threaten the safety and security of the American people. Mr. President, under your leadership, for the first time, there is a newly created National Intelligence Fusion Cell at the Office of Director of National Intelligence. There's very simple ways to make sure that we have two-way intelligence sharing of actionable information between the intelligence community and law enforcement. I want to talk briefly about three successes that we've had here in the last few weeks, Mr. President, through the success of this interagency fusion cell. Just this last week, our National Counterterrorism Center reported through actionable intelligence to both UN law enforcement as well as Mexican law enforcement the arrest of Sinaloa cartel boss El Plato and Juarez, Mexico. El Plato no longer in a separate and recent successful interagency operation we think we were focused on the Marshal Service that led to the arrest of another dangerous Sinaloa cartel member responsible for tracking huge amounts of cocaine and hundreds of thousands of dollars through this single entity with the proceeds through his network. And I'll say the last example I'll share is probably the most insidious, was providing intelligence to the Mexican law enforcement that
but
led
the
to the
war is far
arrest
from
of
over.
a CJNG cartel-affiliated baby trafficker called La Diabla. Her whole money-making operation was centered around luring pregnant women, performing illegal C-sections, harvesting organs, and selling newborn babies. Mr. President, it's your leadership that has made all of this possible. I can tell you, in the midst of this government
What the
shutdown, our
fuck?
folks, like everyone around this table, are working 24/7 without pay and eager to get after this because they believe in your leadership and the mission
Damn.
that you have presented to them. Thank you, Mr. President. I'll hand this off to Homeland Security
Fight
Advisor
harder.
Stephen Miller.
You are of no use to be dead.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Let me just say, Mr. President, that this country is going to die without you. This country is going to have to die. That's what we just say. We've been invaded for 4 years. Communities are public safety is beyond zero. Cartels are running entire communities. Sex trafficking, power trafficking, labor trafficking, drug control, overdose of drug control. The cartels are claiming more and more territory. City services are fucking. This is a country that we've got for you, and you alone. When you step forward, originally, so it's 16, you started the movement to make America great again. And that means make America great again for everyone. And then in safety and prosperity and peace and freedom from cartels, crime, and gangs. And your vision for your leadership in preparing war with America is the single most successful public safety and you can lead it. People have been talking about drug cartels for longer than I've been alive. And everyone is just taking for granted that they can't be touched like that. They're too big, too powerful, too
Impressive.
evil, they're too murderous.
But can you
They can
repeat
operate
your
with impunity.
success?
But
In just 9 months, President Trump is the only American leader, not just in our lifetimes, but ever, to actually take the fight to the drug cartel, to actually seek their eradication.
El
And it's happened.
Plato.
And so while the Democrats are shutting the government down and fighting for free health care for illegal aliens, look at what President Trump has assembled here. He's assembled a team under his vision, direction, and leadership that is saving hundreds of thousands of lives. Hundreds of thousands of lives. And only President Trump could have done this. And I will say one last thing, which is that his courage and inspiration.
Do
everyone
not
else in this
succumb
room.
to the chaos.
There are people in this room, and I'm looking, for example, at online, who been relentlessly off. And they came after his thing. Everyone was saying
I want to thank you, Stephen, and I have to say that you have been making the rounds. I'm meeting tomorrow for a very big meeting, including with the president of China. Which is going to come out very well. Everybody said the same thing. A year ago, we had a dead country. We had dead country all over in a lot of ways, not just this. Dead is not doornails on this, but we were a country that was in serious trouble and beyond that. And we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. The whole world is talking about. We have the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're going to clear up this crime in our cities. We can do it quickly, too. They showed how quickly we could do it in D.C. It was a real bad place. It was a real mess. Dirty, filthy, disgusting, graffiti all over the place. Pencils every ounce of parks that we
More
had.
undead warriors will
Just
soon
disgusting.
arrive.
And I rode around last weekend. I rode around the city.
This caused some
I felt
disgust.
very safe in that car.
All right.
You know, I would have done it without it. I wouldn't need that car so much anymore, I will tell you. But the place was clean. We've started that also. Not only law and order, but the cleanliness is important. I think cleanliness is almost a part of law and order. If you see dirty, disgusting streets and potholes all over the place,
It's
and
a shithole.
railings falling down,
Yeah.
and graffiti all over the marble, beautiful statuary marble columns, those gorgeous columns where they had graffiti, it's all gone. And I think it's a part of it.
Do not make me
I think it's a big
regret
part of it.
choosing you for
But we
this
have a
mission.
city that we can be proud of. We're going to be that way with every city we have. That's why with San Francisco, I wish them luck, but we could do it so much faster. I told them, man, I love what you're doing. I respect it, and I respect the people that are doing it. They're the biggest people in the country. They're the biggest people in the world. A lot of high tech. People like them. Some people don't, but they're smart. And they want to do it, and I said, I am so honored to let you do it, and if it doesn't work out, we'll do it for you very quickly. But I just want to thank the people around this table are amazing. That's all.
Mr. President, I'll keep it short. I think what the media should realize is the United States
Valhalla? Yeah.
enough countries to support the 2 million Americans gone, evaporating off our streets permanently. More businesses safeguard American freedom, shows the most courageous your ability to marshal down 8 months. These
but the
statistics
war
would
is
have taken
far
other
from
administrations
over.
decades. And the partnership that you see around the table, I just want to, sum it up with the following. When I call these folks around the table, when I call our state and local law enforcement partners who have been absolutely critical to this mission, when Stephen Miller called me and said we're going to create the Homeland Security Task Force and the FBI and DHS are going to co-lead it, I said absolutely. The country's been yearning for this and needing it. And the one thing I see different than any other administration is when I call these people, they pick up. I don't get a voicemail. When I make an ask, they answer. And the same is true. And so the FBI is playing a pivotal role in your administration.
I didn't know all these
Life
were
must
so
prevail
And
over
Stephen's
death.
vision has finally come to life.
Yeah.
And instead of attacking the people at this table, maybe the media should go out there and talk to the lives of the state directly. And the community should take courage to do that. Take courage to do that. Take strength to respond. Put a leadership team together. We are we do that. We do work together. 24/7 365 mission that doesn't turn on as the president. That's who we go. We're a society where we should respond. I thank you.
there are
I
politicians
fear this
as recently
struggle
as
may
today
be as eternal as
suggesting they are
I.
doing something wrong. We have governors, district attorneys, mayors, and even congresswomen suggesting that our federal law enforcement and the state and local law enforcement that are helping them are doing something wrong.
Because they don't agree
that
with
is
it. That's
disgusting
why they're mad.
and something that we will not tolerate. That every day Attorney General Bondi and I talk with all of our partners, making sure that they know that if any one of our federal agents, our state and local agents working under the HSTF banner are even touched by any of these terrorists or rioters, they will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. When politicians aid these terrorists by trying to give them comfort or protection or suggesting that somehow our men and women are doing the wrong thing, same problem. We will not tolerate it. So thank you to all of our state and local men and women that are helping us. Federal law enforcement literally putting their lives on the line every single day.
Any questions maybe pertaining? How about pertaining to this a little while? Do you have any questions of these incredible people? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
President, thank you. Good to see you. If I could just ask both of you, according to the U.S. that P-1 bombers in Venezuela to ramp up some military pressure there. Is that accurate? And please tell us more about that.
No, it's not accurate. No, it's false. But you're not happy with Venezuela. A lot of reasons. Well, but also they've been sending their prisoners into our country for years under the Biden administration. Not anymore. We have a closed border. Well, actually, nobody for the last 4 months, I guess 5 months, they say they report nothing. They report zero. I don't know if that can be possible, but we'll accept it,
But
right,
the
fellas?
war is far
But
from over.
we have closed borders. We have people coming into our country, but they only come in legally. We have the strongest borders we've ever had. We might have the strongest borders of almost any nation right now.
Wow.
And that's a big difference from what it was 2 years ago when everybody was pouring in. But we're very unhappy with Venezuela because of what they've done. They've emptied their prisons into our country. Nobody can do that. Only a stupid person would have accepted it.
Who did that?
And that's what we had running our country. Very stupid people. So we're not happy with Venezuela, I will tell you. Yeah.
Mr. President.
Go ahead.
Mr. President. Thank you, President
Yeah,
Trump.
go ahead. You okay?
Yes. On fentanyl.
We're going to lose
Sorry
it.
about that. On fentanyl.
We have some good medical help.
Fight
right?
harder.
That's
You
all right.
are of no use
On
to me,
fentanyl,
dead.
according to the CDC data, nearly 350,000 Americans died in the past 5 years from fentanyl. That's 1 in 300,000 Americans who died.
More than that.
Yes,
It's
I
more.
know.
I'll be discussing that with both of you.
Yes, so that's actually my question.
I figured
I
it.
was wondering, since news like news from China is such partnership with us, what are you going to say to Canadian citizens? And also, a second question, is that the events that China is doing in Venezuela and Mexico?
That's a big question.
They are doing that. But they handling 20% tariff to the fentanyl. But billions and billions of dollars. Actually, on November 1st, the tariff of Canada is 57%, which is record-setting tariff. And we don't want that because
Hopefully not by votes, you know?
they can't sustain that. We don't want that.
That'd be bad.
Impressive.
So a meeting with
But can
President
you
Xi and
repeat your success?
I would say the first,
bad.
we have some big issues, right, with the farmers and various other things. But the first question I'm going to be asking them about is fentanyl. And if you think about it, they make $100 million. Think of this: they make $100 million selling fentanyl into our country.
It's not that much money.
They lose $100 billion with the 20% tariff.
Yeah.
So it's not a good business proposition. It's $100 billion approximately that they have to pay. It's a big penalty to make $100 million. So I think they want to do something. They want to put it on the list. It's on the list. It's one of the things we're talking about. And I'm putting it right at the front of the list. So they pay a very big money for doing that. And I don't think they want to be doing it. And we'll see what happens at the end of next week. But I'll be leaving my country, along with we're stopping in Malaysia, we're stopping in South Korea, we're stopping in Japan. I'm meeting with President Xi hopefully in South Korea. So it'll be the first thing on the list. Yeah, please.
On the drug boat, sir, has there been any discussion about capturing some?
Why?
Oh, God. Know everything about them.
Oh, shut up, Karen.
Where they're coming from,
Shut up.
who they're coming with, generally who's in the boat. I'll let you discuss it a little bit, but there's more intelligence. And, usually when you see 5 engines, I've never even seen it before. 65 engines in a boat, going about 65 miles an hour. I get it loaded up with white powder and silver cases. Generally speaking, that's not a good time. They're not going fishing, right? And you don't see the fishing very well. So, we don't have to discuss that earlier. Yes, sir. My wife is still living in
So, nobody better in the world at mapping network, identifying inside territory. Reclaim how you understand the world in our own country. That's exactly what these foreign terrorists are doing. Track them, map them, network them, hunt them, kill them. Because they're trying to, and they are killing and poisoning the American people. Inside that, we have all the licenses necessary. All the
This guy has tattoos on himself of the Crusades.
And we've been, just to add, I think it's important. We've been capturing them for years. It's not like, gee, let's capture one. We've been doing that for years. For 25 years, we've been doing
Hot
it.
Wheels and-
Not at a level like we're doing it now. I mean, just with the hits we're hitting, but we have much more intensity than any administration's ever had. But we've been capturing these boats for years, and they get back into the system and they do it again and again and again, and they don't fear that. They have no fear. The thing I can tell you right now, it's very hard to find any floating vessel right now on the Pacific or on in the Gulf, and I would like to call it by its official name, the Gulf of America. Another little triumph of the Trump administration.
I forgot all about that.
I said for years, I said, why do we call it the Gulf of Mexico? It's 93%, the shoreline is 93% ours. So I never understood that, so I made that change. I never realized how easy that was going to be, other than, I guess, AP fought us in court, and the judge said, but that's the name. And actually, they were sort of semi-prohibited from even covering us after that. It was pretty amazing. But we have the Gulf of America, and there are very few boats, very, very few boats. Not even fishing boats, to be honest. I don't want to do that to the fishing industry, but it's been so effective. And our sea drugs, as they call them, they use the term sea drugs, the drugs coming in by sea, are like 5% of what they were a year ago, less than 5%. So now they're coming in by land, and even the land is concerned, because I told them that's going to be next. You know, the land is going to be next, and we may go to the Senate, we may go to the Congress and tell them about it, but I can't imagine they'd have any problem with it. I think,
Just
in
tell
fact,
them?
while we're here, I think it's a good idea, Pete. You go to Congress, you tell them about it. What are they going to do? Say, gee, we don't want to stop drugs pouring in. They're killing 300,000 people a year. I think that's the real number, 300,000 people a year. So between that and my discussion with President Xi, I think we have never made progress like we've made. The sea drugs are almost dead, and they can't come in that fast from the land. And the land drugs are much more dangerous for them. It's going to be much more dangerous. You'll be seeing that soon. So that's the way it is, yeah. Go ahead, please. Yeah, go ahead, please. With the glasses, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Good.
I wanted to ask, what's your reaction to Representative Dan Goldman calling on NYPD to arrest ICE agents who he says are acting illegally? He says they are illegally assaulting people and illegally detaining people at immigration courts in New York.
Well, I know Dan, and Dan's a loser, you understand. He's a guy that doesn't have what it takes. He's been trying so hard, and they're exhausted. I mean, it's so ridiculous, right? A suggestion like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're just trying so hard, and it's not working. They've even now started imitating me, of all people. They want to imitate me. And they start using foul language, but they use too much of it. You know, you can't use the F word 7 times in one sentence. It doesn't work. It might work once every 7 news conferences, but you can't do it.
So that's the ratio.
You can't do it 7 times in one sentence. So I don't know.
So he does do all this shit on
really,
purpose.
they're in big trouble, that party. Go ahead.
Some alleged smugglers have survived
cool down.
these recent strikes and been sent back to their home country. If they're terrorists, why not just arrest them?
2 points on that. First, when I came to Iraq in 2005, 2006, we used to, the gallery scene the way talk about the Iraqi tension reality. We catch a lot of people, hand them over, and then you recycle back to them, you have to recapture them or attack them again. And that's why changing the dynamic, taking the kinetic strikes on these folks, ought to change the psychology of the military. Kudos to the work that survived and stopped. I think, again, compared to Iraq and Afghanistan, the vast majority of the attacks done about it, they had to go to Iraq. The always right how it's being stayed out.
So like that's your
So in his case, those two exceeded by American medics handed the unit over to their country where they can't find all You've got protocol covered.
not necessarily.
Not that guy. He's so hopeless. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I fear this struggle may be as eternal as I.
Do you see it as a challenge to your people?
Could you say that louder, please?
Yes, yesterday there was a vote at the Knesset in Israel on annexing the West Bank. Do you see it as a challenge to your peace efforts?
Will you answer that, please? Because I cannot understand the words you're saying. Where are you? Where are you from? Where are you from? You're from France. Beautiful accent, but we can't understand what you're saying.
Life must prevail over death.
The West Bank is. Don't worry about the West Bank. Israel's not going to do anything with the West Bank. Okay? Don't worry about it. Is that your question? They're not going to do anything with the West Bank. Don't worry about it. Israel's doing very well. They're not going to do anything with it. Yeah, please. Go ahead.
President Trump, are there any safeguards in place to protect Americans, fentanyl, and cartels when you leave office in 2028? Any protocols that could be put in place in case a future administration comes in that wants open borders? And I also have a question for the Secretary of State.
Well, the biggest thing we can do is make sure they don't come in. Because open borders, it's they would destroy. It's amazing that our country's even surviving with what we went through. Coming in like a billion. And coming in from the wrong places. There are no other people that run these countries.
Wait, what?
They're smart, they're street smart, and they're not sending their best. They're not sending them. They take them out of their prisons and then that's the only way they're going to say over and over again.
Okay.
They get fluctuators, they deport out. Don't work. The best of them are people they form of welfare, which is tiny. They don't get form of welfare, they give you a piece of paper. They give you nothing. But they want people that work, they don't let those people come in because they want those people. You know, they cherish those people. Those are the people that make the country run. They give us all of the people that don't work. And murderers, 11,843 murderers came in.
That's a lot of them.
11,800. Many of them committed, more than 50% committed more than one murder. Now,
He
why do we
insulted her?
want them?
Okay.
Why would Biden and that group of thugs that he had working for him, why would they accept these people? Why would he accept? Nobody understands it. You know, they say maybe they wanted to vote, but I did great with the Hispanic vote, but these are people from all over the world. Why would they do it? So one question, no matter what I do, I can't, you always like to know the opponent. You have an opponent. What are they getting at? And usually you can. Why would they allow 20 million, maybe 25 million people into this country, almost all of which, but most of which should not have been allowed into our country? It's one of the great enigmas. What they've done to this country should never be forgotten.
I thought they didn't use that word.
Never, ever be forgotten. And now it looks like we're going to have a communist mayor in New York. That'll be a lot of fun. But remember this, they have to go through the White House. Yeah.
He does now.
Can you explain why you chose to pardon him? And did it have anything to do with his involvement in your
Which one was that?
the founder of Binance? He had
The recent one was Paulie. I believe it was the Tibeti partner. I don't know. He was recommended by a lot of people. My friends. A lot of people say that, are you talking about the cryptocurrency? A lot of people say that he wasn't guilty of anything. He served 4 years in jail, and they say that he was not guilty of anything. That what he did, we don't know much about crypto. We know nothing about nothing. Let me just tell you that he was somebody that, as I was told, I don't know. I don't believe I've ever met him. But I've been told a lot of support. He had a lot of support. And they said that what he did is not even a crime. It wasn't a crime, but he was persecuted by the Biden administration. And so I gave him a pardon at the request of a lot of very good people.
Thank you so much.
This is the kind of question I like.
The numbers from this task force for jaw dropping. I wanted to know, this is a question for you and Bill Stevens, since this is your brainchild. What are the lessons to be learned from the success of the task force, and what are your continued goals with this task force now that you have about 3
Do you guys
years
ever
left?
wonder
Well, the best thing we have going
if they
is we
get
have such
nervous when
talent
Steven
around this table. I
talks?
could go over every one of these men and women.
Do you guys
and
ever
we
wonder
have
that?
unbelievable talent. They've got
Like, oh,
the
geez.
naturals, you know, like somebody that hits a baseball or a golf ball or a, you know, that you see more. It's more evident. It's beautiful because it's sports. You can tell somebody right away are they good or are they not. These people are the most talented people at what they do. And when we started talking about this, Stephen and all of us, it seems so easy. What is surprising to me is how quickly we can straighten out a large city, a big city, a mean city, a city that's sick, that's got very sick, with guns all over the place, with bullets shooting all over it. I mean, you take your life in your hands if you go out and buy a loaf of bread. That's not America. That's not our country. And those people don't care how you do it. They just want it done. They really do. You know, when you go to the people on the street, they don't know. Is it National Guard? They just want it done. They want to be safe. And we gained a great following of Americans, real Americans, people who want to be safe. But I think the biggest thing we say is we have tremendous talent. We were able to recognize, like a football team, like a baseball team, we were able to recognize the talent. And the talent is largely in this room for the whole country. It's largely in this room. There's really nothing like it. And that's why I think we had DC done, not perfectly, but pretty much done, at least normalized in 12 days. When you say 12 days, on the 12th day, it felt different. And then, and you know, we took a lot of bad people out, never to come back again. Then most of them never to come back again. But there's great talent, and there's also great courage. I've been watching what goes on, and then you have the radical left ludicrous, and what's that all about? I mean, they're fighting us because we want to stop crime. Where do these people come from? They're paid money. I guess they're paid a lot of money. But like I saw that ridiculous march the other day. We're not representative of our country. And not all of them, of course, but many of them are total lowlives. These are lowlives. These are people that are paid agitators. And they're not representative of our country. So, I don't know, I can just tell you that our country has tremendous spirit. And you know that better than anybody because you cover it well. But we have a lot of people that are very happy right now with the direction. They did a poll the other day, the direction of our country is better than it's been in 37 years. And I'm upset because I think it should be better than that. I actually said we should be better than that. So, thank you very much for your question. Brian?
Steven did not get to talk.
Thank you, Mr. Short. You guys are doing an amazing job, and some of those numbers are staggering. We've got messages on social media. Thank you. But I think you talk about the number of missing children you guys have discovered. It's amazing.
But hundreds of thousands were lost through Biden and the Biden administration. And we are getting a lot of them back. but they're either dead, they're slaves, they're captured in some form. But think of it, hundreds of thousands we're talking about. Not even believable. And they came in through the border, they were sold, they were bargained for. This is all Biden, meaning Biden and Obama, the same mentality, frankly. I think it's the same mentality. Let me tell you, Barack Hussein Obama was a lousy president. A lot of bad things happened.
Virginia.
Remember when they used to talk about Trump with the jail cells? Well, he built the jail cells for the jokers. He built those jail cells. Remember when that came out? But sir, they were built in 2014. You remember when that came out? After me going through that stuff for about
the kids in
2
cages.
weeks, and then they found out it was Barack Obama that built those jail cells. No, these people they were bad leaders. I hope we don't have it again. I hope we don't have it again, because, our country's come back a long way, but it can only withstand so much, and we don't want to ever go
Maybe
through
they should
that
just
again.
stop having
We never
elections
want to
then.
have open borders again. We don't want to have men playing in women's sports. We don't want to have transgender for everybody. We don't want that. We want to have a great country with low interest rates, nice housing, great education, a strong military, the basics. Yes.
Transgender for everybody.
He said he would close Rikers Island if elected. What kind of impact does that have on public safety?
Well, it's not good. I guess it's not a very nice place. But, you need it. You need something. You have a lot of additional people in New York City that did not live here. They came here through the open borders, through Biden. I don't know how they even do it. New York City's always been tight for money. And then they spend, $8 billion, and nobody complains about it, on people that showed up and they just came out of nowhere. Where did they get the money? All of a sudden they have money.
True.
I tell you what, we have to keep our prisons very fair and very safe, but
Follow the money? Yeah,
you
I
get a
guess
lot
so.
of criminals. We have a lot of additional criminals. I used to talk about it. They used to say, well, only good people come in from foreign countries.
Oh,
I said,
sure.
that's not right. I didn't know that for a fact, but it had just started, right? The open borders and people flowing in by the millions. They make our criminals
But can you
look
repeat
like the
your
nicest people
success?
on earth. That's the only good thing. They make our criminals look like nice people. They are the meanest, the most vicious. Tren de Aragua, you don't get any sicker. They cut people's fingers off because they called the cop. Did you call the cop? Yes. They cut off his finger so he can't call the cop anymore. And then they say, next time we're going to cut off your hand if you cut, because they took over his apartment in Colorado. Colorado, they took over a town and they took over another town. And you have a weak governor over there. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing, so he lets it go on. But we're getting them out of here. We're getting them all out. They're going back to lots of, not just Venezuela. They're going back to lots of countries. Venezuela would be one, however. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. A moment ago, you said that
No, we will go.
you will go. And
We
it'll be
will go.
difficult for them to object.
I don't feel the loss in going. No reason not to. They'll always complain, we should have gone. But we're going to definitely, I'd like to say,
They're going to let them know.
we're going to tell them what we're going to do, and I think they're going to probably like to accept to the radical left organization.
And Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels, terrorists like that process, why not just ask for a declaration?
I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people and bring these up in their country. Okay? We're going to kill them. We're going to be like dead.
I fear this struggle may be as eternal as I.
Yes, red hair.
Okay.
Beautiful red hair.
Thank you. I'll my hairdresser that. She'll love it. This is a question for both you and the Secretary of War, Mr. Hegseth.
Who are you with?
I'm with the Center Square.
I don't know what
we're
that
the
is.
Square Service. With everything that's going on between the narco terrorists in the Caribbean, and then also with more Chinese and Iranian, Russian ships
Fight harder.
taking part
You
in
are of no
Venezuela.
use to me,
Do you
dead.
have any plans to expand the operations out of Roosevelt Road that places
We're familiar with the location.
what we've done, we're definitely keeping our eyes on military adversaries at the same time. Sending a message on the inside our hemisphere. Ignore our other
One big thing that has happened is that you mentioned expansion and expand our efforts. So when I was running for office, everybody was talking about the fact that nobody wanted to join the military, nobody wanted to join the police forces. They didn't want to join New York Finest or any of our police forces. They didn't want to join anything having to do almost like with the country with the uniform. We are setting records with the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Space Force, Coast Guard. We're setting.
Is he going to go for a third term?
Records. We've never had anything like it. And I'll tell you when it started, November 5th. We didn't even have to wait till January 20th. They saw spirit. And now we have people coming in that are, it's unbelievable. And if we wanted to increase our military force, if we wanted to increase any one of them, including police forces, they can now get men. People didn't want to be policemen and women. They didn't want to be firemen and women. They didn't want to go into the military. We were having tremendous recruiting problems, and now we're setting records. We literally, last year at this time, we were doing stories that the recruitment was a disaster. We couldn't get men and women to go into the military. Now we have such an overabundance. We've never had anything, as I understand it, it's like record-setting recruitment. This is in less than a year. It's been amazing. So it's a good time to expand if we want to do it. And I think we should. And we probably will. Yeah.
The administration deportation and
Impressive.
I would hope so.
to U.S.
But can you
express
repeat your
purpose of aiding
success?
deportation and immigration enforcement.
No shit.
What we've done so far is stand alongside federal law enforcement in every way, facilities and personnel, but also we have a great deal of lift inside the military. We're able to move assets in a way that no other aspect of the U.S. government can. And so where we can rapidly assist with mass deportations, we can.
Yes. Okay. The answer is yes.
Is the administration at all supportive of potential measures to crack down or regulate or even ban apps that track ICE agents' locations?
Ooh, that's a good question.
What do you mean by that?
Like specific apps that are used to track the location of ICE agents?
I guess I'm not a big app guy. I don't do that too much. I think that might be
Yeah, these organizations, President Trump, are coming in and they're asking federal law enforcement officers and the federal government where they're going to be, their location. And we've actually worked really well with the federal agents who are cooperating. They don't want our law enforcement officers to commit.
I mean, I see it with ICE, where they define where they live, who they are. I didn't have a big view on the mask, but I now understand why they should wear masks. I don't think they're dangerous for them not to wear masks. They can do whatever they want. I know that some do it and some don't. When you look at, you talk about that question, I think it's very dangerous, and I think we cut it down and that's very hard.
Go ahead.
Show no mercy on the cartels in the way of the military assets. In that same video, also said that
You're doing that. We're talking where the money's coming. Because you see it. Like, even that garbage deal they had this weekend, which was embarrassing to them, and the crowds were not big. Those crowds were not big at all. But when you look at signs, and they're all made beautifully, the yellow signs, I show the yellows, the blues, but they're all made professionally in a printing shop. Looks like on Madison Avenue something. some guys paying for all that stuff. And we don't mind protest. Protest is a good thing. I protest. I'm always protesting. But when you see some of these people are going crazy. They're going crazy because they're getting paid. Because there's no reason for them to be going crazy. But you watch some of them, and they're professional agitators. And we are finding out who's paying them. Yeah, we have a lot of information about who they are. You're going to be very surprised when you find out.
When are you going to do that?
Secretary Hegseth, sir, a memo circulating on social media details the establishment of a National Guard response force that's going to be trained in crowd control and civil unrest and deployed in all 50 states by April 2026. Verify the authenticity of that memo and operation.
I'm not going to answer particulars on something that Adrian is saying about this, but you definitely do have multiple layers of National Guard response, whether it's in each state, whether it's injury leave, whether it's Title 10 active duty, whether it's Washington, D.C. We've got a lot of those ways that constitutionally and legally we can employ Title 10 and Title 32 forces, and we will do so on that.
I'll let you know about it in 6 months. Let's see how it all works out. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
The same day you established this task force back on January 20th was the same day you honored 6 defendants.
Very proud of that. Yeah.
Just last weekend, one of them was charged with allegedly threatening to kill House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. And a big theme of this task force has been allowing law enforcement to do their job and holding accountable people who go after law enforcement. Do you worry that your actions back on day one undermine what this task force is trying to accomplish?
No, you have thousands of people that we're dealing with, and if one goes haywire, look at what this guy in Virginia said, where he wanted to kill his opponent. He's going to kill his opponent. He's going to kill his opponent's children and I think wife. And he continues to run, and the Democrats continues running for what attorney general in Virginia. Look what he said. So now, do you think all Democrats should be prohibited from living anymore? I mean, think of what he said. He's going to kill his opponent, and he's going to kill the children of his opponent, and at least the wife. I said, this guy's sick. Dude, that is a sick guy. Yeah. And how do you vote for somebody like that? But I don't view that every Democrat would say that, because not every Democrat would say that. So you can have one person, but I don't know if he is going to. I can say we're very proud of what we did. We had the courage to do something that should have been done. The problem sometimes the Republicans, the females, they're doing this. Democrats play a much dirtier fight. That's amazing. You go after dirty cops like Comey, and you go after these are dirty cops. Letitia James, who's a dirty cop. You go after these people and they say how horrible you are. Yet I got indicted 5 times in a beach play. Nobody says anything about that. They say, well, they actually said to us, trying to indict somebody. Got indicted 4 or 5 times sometimes. Maybe more than that. Yeah. I think you could say 87 times if you really think about it, right? With the charges, a bunch of phony guys, but nobody says anything about that. But they mentioned it the other way. No, the Democrats play a very dirty game. It's all they're good at. They're good at a couple of things: cheating on elections and playing very dirty. And they have one good trait: they stick together. They stick together. They stick together through the worst policies that anybody's ever seen. It's unbelievable how they stick together. And I respect them for sticking together, but it's a dead party because their policies are no good. Okay. Right. We'll do a few more and we'll go home.
Wonderful.
Everybody's going to go home. I'm going back to the Oval Office, however.
Speaking of Democrats, there's a report that the grand jury added Schiff. Should he step down?
Well, I'm not going to comment on that. I would just say Adam Schiff is one of the lowest forms of scum I've ever dealt with in politics. He's a horrible human being. very dishonest. I have no idea what's going on. You tell me Spain's going to be indicted. I don't know. You could ask Pam. I don't know if she could say it. Probably you are allowed to say it, but I wouldn't know about that. I can only say he's a very bad. I think he's actually a sick. I don't know. By the way, I hope it's true, but I don't know anything about it. Yep.
I fear this
Millions
struggle
of
may be
dollars.
as eternal as
Well, I also give a lot of money to the White House. The White House is, as you know, I give my salary, and I usually like to steer to the White House because this house was a little bit abandoned.
That's where all the gold
First
is
of all,
from.
for 4 years, you had a guy walking around that didn't know where the hell he was. And this house was not taken care of the way it was supposed to be. I take very good care of property. I was very good at that. And you'll notice the floors downstairs, I paid for them. Marble, the most beautiful marble you've ever seen. The white floors down in the palm room, which they look like they came out of, I don't want to lose because they're big supporters of my Home Depot, so I'm not going to say bad, but they did come out of a box from Home Depot about 30 years ago. They were all broken. Now they have the most beautiful floors, the most beautiful lights and chandeliers. I think most of you, Brian, you've seen that, right? How beautiful is that? And I think I spend millions of dollars on this family, taking care of it. It was not properly maintained. And now it's starting to bloom like it should. It's really blooming. You should go down and visit.
That's a lot of gold.
Presidential Washington. Quite small. Good. I'm sure that a lot of people come to the White House. It's hot. It's really a tribute to the president.
Is that the one with Biden that has like the auto pin?
Yeah, behind you.
So on Monday, question for you as well, Senator. On Monday, Eric Garcetti in LA and Representative Robert Garcia, they held a press conference and they called for an investigation into DHS, accusing them of unlawfully arresting U.S. citizens and racially profiling and only arresting people because Robert Garcia is
But can you repeat your success?
Do you have a response to that?
Are you asking me that question?
You as well as Secretary Noem.
They are arresting bad criminals, and they're really good at it too. I look at the numbers. You know, they always like to say that, oh, you're arresting this and that. Then when you check it, you find out, geez, almost every single time. And, you know, obviously every once in a while they may get one wrong, but they always correct it. They're able to correct it.
Shit happens.
But they are arresting really bad people. They're arresting people that kill, people that would cut your throat and not even care about it. And these are brave people, and it's very dangerous. And if they go even a little bit too far, they get into trouble, you know, which is a shame. I protect them, but they get into trouble. But they're arresting very serious criminals, and they're getting them out of here. Okay, one or two more. Doug, do you have a question? I'd love to have Doug have a question. I'm grateful for that. Because he's such a great guy, and he might be the most talented person over there. Go ahead, let's see your question. This guy's a real good.
Those efforts to American troops being where this is headed
No, the cartels are very bad. You look at what happens, you trip up, some people when they get killed, they get raped, levels, in my opening speech, I mentioned that, but in a very light way, I mentioned the word rape. You take a look at what happens, it's horrible what's going on. And you're doing the world what is going on. Just tell them, you know, you don't have too many cartels now, because they know when they get up here, they're going to be stopped. Under Biden, they were just flowing into the cartel. It didn't matter what you were, where you came from, what you looked like, what you record. They didn't check that. Millions of people came into this country that should not be in our country right now. We've gotten a lot of them out. It's the single biggest problem that we are getting. Inflation, I've already taken care of. Economically, the country's the strongest it's ever been. Thank God for tariffs. If we didn't have tariffs, it would be a third world war. But thank God for tariffs. We're the richest nation in the world now because of tariffs. And we're able to economically protect ourselves, and we're able to really protect ourselves from a national security situation. But we have cartels that, somebody came up with the word cartel. I won't tell you who that person was, but you got a lot of bad people in the cartels. And you can look at a country like Mexico, and I really respect the president. I really respect a lot of the people over there, but a lot of the leadership. But they are in fear in their own country because those cartels are running those countries, okay? And that includes Colombia. Colombia is a drug den. It's a drug den, and it has been for a long time. You got a lousy leader over there right now, bad guy, a thug, but they make cocaine at levels that we've never seen before, and they sell it back into this, and they're not going to get away with it much longer. We're not going to put up with it much longer.
It doesn't matter.
Colombia is very bad. Mexico is run by the cartels. I have great respect for the president, a woman that I think is a tremendous woman. She's a very brave woman. But Mexico is run by the cartels, and we have to defend ourselves from that. Go ahead. Let's go with you. Go ahead. Let's listen to this, beauty.
Shut down by the time you return from your trip to Asia.
Do I expect to have it resolved by the time I return? I don't know. I said long ago we shouldn't have been in this problem. This was September 28th. It came due in Biden's regime. And before the election, September 28th, and they pushed it off into the future. And I was running when they did that. And when you're running, but I did say, what the hell are they doing? That and debt ceiling. They also pushed the debt ceiling past the election date. So that would mean the next president has it. But I did say that I think the Democrats have gone totally crazy. And you don't know what they're going to do because they don't care about the people. They don't. I really think they have no leadership. They have a lot of very low IQ people. Jasmine Crockett is a low IQ person. A lot of them are. I don't want to insult too many of them, but a lot of them are. They have no rudder. I don't think they know what they're doing right now. They've never done this before. They always agreed to go and called an extension. Let's do an extension and talk. Even today, look at what happened today.
You just call her a retard, bro.
They don't want to pay the people that have worked, and this was supposed to be this was a test, and they wouldn't pay the people that have been working. They said, no, we don't want to pay them. This is all the Democrats. Now, all we need is 5 Democrats, and I know a lot of Democrats that are saying they're more than 5. Probably not that many more than 5, but they're more than 5. And all we need is like 5 Democrat votes, so we open our country again. Sad, though. We have the greatest economy in our history. We have the highest stock market. All these things are rocking.
Way to say retard?
We will have by the end of my first year more than $20 trillion of investment.
Trump has to say retard.
The all-time record is $3 trillion. I think it's China. We're going to have $20 or $21 trillion. We've never had anything like it coming in because of tariffs. The money pouring into our country, the plants that are opening, AI, automobiles, everything. And the Democrats want to close our country. They're really, they say deranged. They are.
Call them retarded.
They suffer. I guess it's Trump derangement syndrome, which I think is going down now as an official condition by the doctors. I think they get paid extra money if they handle it because it's more difficult to handle than a normal mental disease. But you know what? They really should approve an extension, get the country back to work, get the people paid.
Oh, God.
And, it's very simple. You just don't know what's going on. There's something wrong with them. It's sad, actually.
Have you raised the full $300 million needed to fund your ballroom? And how much specifically are you donating to this construction project?
I think $350 million. All donor money and money that we put up. We've raised, it's going to be It's going to cost right in the neighborhood of $300 million. It's been expanded and made absolutely.
make it
It'll
even
be the
bigger.
most beautiful ballroom anywhere in the world, I think.
Wow.
How much am I donating? I won't be able to tell you until I finish, but I'll donate whatever's needed. I'll tell you that. Do I have a name for the? I won't get into that now.
The
Yeah, go
name
ahead,
for the
please.
ballroom. I wonder what the name's going to be.
Go without their first full paychecks, federal
Yeah, I had
workers.
it. By
We've
the way,
already
a friend of mine, talking about donors, a friend of mine, a man that's great. I'm not going to use his name unless he lets me do it. Susie can tell you
What
about
could it
this,
be
but
called?
he was
Big,
he called
beautiful
us the other
ballroom.
day and he said, "I'd like to contribute any shortfall you have because of the Democrat shutdown. I'd like to personally contribute any shortfall you have with the military." Because I love the military and I love the country, and any shortfall, if there's a shortfall, I'll contribute it. And today he sent us a check for $130 million.
That's a lot of money.
I would love to tell you he doesn't really want the recognition, if you want to know the truth, but he gave us a check for $130 million.
I want one of those.
Which was sort of a shortfall, yeah. And that's going to go to the military, yeah. Is that the correct number? $130 million. That's what I call a patriot. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Man.
Thank you.
Man. That was me? It was not me. For what? I don't know. Don't forget the funny French woman. Okay, so what happened with this that I missed out on, okay? So, where did it go? Because I know... Give me a second. Let me see if I can find this.
Don't worry about it. Is that your question? They're not going to do anything with the West Bank. Don't worry about it. Israel's doing very well. They're not going to do anything.
Okay, this
with
has
it.
got to
Yeah,
be...
please, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. Are there any safeguards in place to protect Americans from fentanyl and cartels when you leave office in 2028?
Do anything. Could you say that louder, please? Go ahead.
Yesterday, there was a vote at the Knesset on annexing the West Bank. Do you see it as a challenge to your peace efforts?
Could you say that louder, please?
Yes, yesterday there was a vote at the Knesset in Israel on annexing the West Bank. Do you see it as a challenge to your peace efforts?
Will you answer that, please? Because I cannot understand the words you're saying. Where are you from? Where are you from? You're from France. Beautiful accent, but we can't understand what you're saying. Huh?
She said a vote at the Knesset.
The West Bank is. Could you say that louder, please?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Is that your question? They're not going to do anything with the West Bank. Don't worry about it. Israel's doing very well. They're not going to do anything.
Okay, this
with
has
it.
got to
Yeah,
be...
please, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. Are there any safeguards in place to protect Americans from fentanyl and cartels when you leave office in 2028?
Do anything. Could you say that louder, please? Go ahead.
Yesterday there was...
Could you say that louder, please? Go ahead.
Yesterday there was a vote at the Knesset on annexing the West Bank. Do you see it as a challenge to your peace efforts?
Could you say that louder, please?
Yes, yesterday there was a vote at the Knesset in Israel on annexing the West Bank. Do you see it as a challenge to your peace efforts?
Will you answer that, please? Because I cannot understand the words you're saying. Where are you from? Where are you from? You're from France. Beautiful accent, but we can't understand what you're saying. Huh?
She said a vote at the Knesset on
The West Bank is. Don't worry about the West Bank.
Don't worry about
Israel's
it.
not going to do anything with the West Bank, okay? Don't worry
Just
about
don't
it.
worry
Is that
about-
your
yeah.
question? They're not going to do
Guys,
anything with the West
don't
Bank.
worry about
Don't
it.
worry about it.
Just relax.
Israel's doing very well. They're not going to do anything with it. Yeah, please.
Mr.
Go ahead.
President.
Thank you, President Trump. Are there any safeguards in place to protect Americans from fentanyl and cartels when you leave office in 2028? Any protocols that could be put in place in
What do you
case a
mean?
future administration comes
What do
in
you mean leave?
that wants open borders?
Wait, what
and
do
I
you mean?
also have a question for the Secretary of War as well after your answer.
Well, the
if that's
biggest
okay.
thing we can do is make sure they don't come in, because open borders,
They don't come in. He's talking about the new administration, obviously.
they would destroy.
Yeah.
It's amazing
Don't let 'em
that
in.
our country is even surviving with what we went through, coming in by the millions, and coming in from the wrong places.
Yeah.
You know, I know all these people that run these countries, and they're smart.
Never
They're
leaving.
very street
This
smart.
is it, guys.
And they're not sending their best, you know. They're not sending. They're taking them
That's
out
it,
of their
boys.
prisons and their mental institutions, as I say over and over again. They're the drug dealers. They're the drug addicts. They're people.
Well, there
that,
it is. I mean, I think we already seen this part, so it's not that big of a deal. No way he did not understand the French lady. I have no idea. People still support Trump and his minister cucks. I mean, I don't know. I support a lot of what he said here, right? I mean, like, I don't know. Like, every single, am I gonna say everything that he said I agree with? I mean, that's kind of a pretty big blank check to write, isn't it? But, like, if you want to ask me on a general sense, like, do I support kind of where he's going with this? I would say abso-fucking-lutely I do.
And give up and pirate it that didn't really cost Netflix any money, because the vast majority of content out there.
I requested one of the doctors to call me. I don't count my chickens before they hatch. You know, I'll feel better whenever he's at home, but things are looking good. Let's get back to it.
A lot more than it's going to hurt them. If people can't find a movie or show on Netflix and then give up and pirate it, that didn't really cost Netflix any money, because the vast majority of content out there wasn't theirs to lose, and they most likely didn't spend the money producing it. A 2023 paper in the Journal of Economic Behavior and Organization titled Pirate and Chill found that when movies moved off Netflix to another platform, piracy of that content increased by more than 20%. Now,
Netflix has such a massive first mover advantage. They're basically like the Twitch of like streaming platforms. Is that while other streaming platforms exist and they're successful, they don't have the same brand recognition and name recognition that Netflix does. Like, everybody knows what Netflix is. So I think that's another really big reason why this happens too.
first and foremost, that's an amazing name for a professional journal article.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it showed why Netflix hasn't been too concerned with online piracy. In a now infamous quote from the company's chief content officer, they said that in order for Netflix to be successful, we need to become movie studios faster than movie studios can become us. Piracy that disproportionately hurt legacy movie studios and their libraries of content was not something that Netflix would encourage. But behind closed doors, they certainly weren't too sad it was happening. Another way to think about this is that obviously Amazon isn't encouraging shoplifting, but it's a problem that hurts their competition far more than it hurts them.
LA POV, I guess. I mean, they're right. You know, yeah, obviously people like what Netflix is saying is that they have a lot of like smaller shows that don't have like a huge amount of like they're not super well-known shows. So they're going to be less people pirating them. I think
Piracy
that's
has
true.
also been a handy little tool throughout the company's history. Back in 2013, it admitted to using data from online piracy sites to find out what was popular and therefore what was.
Hey, you could say this is unethical, but you can't say it's not going to be effective. That's a really good fucking idea. Yep, figure out what kind of shit people steal and then don't sell that.
It's worth licensing.
Yeah.
Okay, so Netflix doesn't care about the rise of piracy. But what about the actual Hollywood studios? Well, they obviously do, and they crack down on IP theft with furious anger. But they are in a difficult situation. They could send piracy back to the Dark Ages by reconcentrating their content onto a single easy platform. But at the moment, that would probably...
They can't, because then you're just going to have people that are going to be putting up the files somewhere else. Like, it's always a game of whack-a-mole, and the more difficult that you make it for people to, like, consume the content, the more people will just simply take the easier route. I think that people will pay for the content if they can, but if it's annoying for them to pay for it, they'll just steal it.
Be Netflix, which a company like Disney would obviously not be willing to go along with after investing so much in their own service. If they keep competing, though, they are just going to make the experience worse for everybody and probably lose more ground to the high seas. Now, for these companies, this whole fight could not be happening at a worse time. There is a reason why music studios were able to play nice and make their content available just about anywhere while movie studios were fighting to the death. Music is simply much cheaper to produce, and there are far more sources of alternative revenue beyond just directly selling a song or an album. Artists don't make
That's
as much.
a good point too. Yeah, you're right about that. Like having like other types of licensing, etc. And like this is something that, like, remember Matt Damon talked about this, is that movies used to have like DVD sales that they could really pop off with. So like if a movie, like a good example of this, I think is, I would say like maybe Dredd. Like they made a Judge Dredd movie in like 2012 or so. And if I remember right, the like box office wasn't very good, but it did really well with DVD sales. And so yeah, Grandma's Boy was probably another one. Yeah, there's a lot of these examples, right, where like it sold a lot of DVDs, but like its initial like box office was kind of low. And yeah, by Blu-rays, yeah, a good-ass movie, cult classic. Yeah, Idiocracy was a huge one that sold well on DVD. Yeah, that's a great example. Idiocracy is probably a better example than what I'm talking about, right? And so now you don't have that second ripple explosion wave effect. And I think that's also another reason why movies have to try even harder to like monetize. And I think that's why you see less avant-garde, risky movies. And the only time that you see a movie that takes a lot of risks is when it's a director or it has a cast that's like, you know, guaranteed to secure a certain amount of money in sales.
From streaming as they would from a physical album sale.
I watched
but they can
DVD,
make it up tours, merchandising,
Good
and
example.
other licensing deals. On the flip side, movies have largely been getting more expensive to produce, while cinema attendance has never fully recovered from its dip during COVID. Ironically, one of the biggest theater releases of the past 5 years was actually
Infinity War, right? It's gotta be Infinity War.
From music studio with the cinema release of Taylor Swift's Eras Tour.
Oh God, somebody's gonna stop these white girls. Jesus Christ. Oh God. Man, that shit was huge. How did this happen?
In the past, poor box offices wouldn't matter as much, because mid-budget movies could make a lot of their money back through DVD sales.
Hey!
But obviously, that's not really a thing anymore.
Yeah.
So studios have put even more effort into pushing their streaming services to eventually make back the difference.
Yep.
It's a bold strategy, and there are hundreds of billions of dollars in market cap at stake. So executives really want to pretend that eventually it'll work out. But if it doesn't, there are some lessons to be learned from the music industry which didn't beat piracy. It just made it unnecessary. The first is that movies have simply become too expensive for the current market.
And this is another big issue too.
Studios have recognized.
This is another big issue, is that like video games are running into the same problem that movies and TV shows are running into, is that as production costs increase, they're increasing at a ratio and at a rate that doesn't match the amount of money that people are willing to spend. So whenever you have these video games that are costing $800 million to make, well, are you really getting $800 million of value? Well, in a lot of cases, the answer is no. So the problem is that these movies now are costing so much money. Like, maybe you need to rethink how you're making movies. You need to rethink how you're approaching this. And like, also, you know, like Robert Downey Jr. got paid like, what, $80 million or something like that to play Dr. Doom? That's just not a sustainable business model. It's just not. Like, you can't spend that much money on movie stars and then think that you're going to make your money back.
Like, and also, like, I'm not, like, I love Robert Downey Jr. I think he's a great actor. He's amazing. But it's just, this is not a good business decision. That's all. It's just not a good business decision. And you can't make your fucking money back. Yeah, paving the way for AI videos. Well, that's what's going to happen a lot. Check The Rock's salaries. I bet he makes a ton of... Absolutely. It's unbalanced. Yeah. It's a broken system. 100% it is. They're definitely getting that value. They're not corrupted by ideologist directors. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of movies. Like, here's another really good one. The Thunderbolts recently. I think that's a movie that, you know, a lot of people said was surprisingly very high quality, and it was a good movie. I didn't watch it, so I'm only speaking in secondhand. But the box office sales for the movie were below average. That was my, it sucked ass. Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, I maybe best movie since Endgame. Yeah, so a lot of people, it's still bombed. Yeah, exactly. Seems like you guys are a little bit more split on it than what I've seen popular opinion be. Okay, that's fair. But either way, a lot of these movies, like, they just don't really sell very well. And I think they're investing too much money into these movies in general. And I think also, you know, like, you go back and you think about a lot of the older movies, like, oh, fuck. Like, just Good Will Hunting, for example, right? Like, how much production value did you really need in that? You didn't need a huge, insane amount of production value. And I think that movies now, like, you don't have to have Michael Bay explosions and all of this crazy stuff happening. Yeah, that's another great example. Bro, Clerks. They couldn't even afford color fucking cameras. It's in black and fucking white. And they just went and made a movie, and it was massively fucking successful. And so, again, I think also they need to rethink the amount of money that they're spending on these movies. And you can go back, Memento by Nolan. I remember watching that in movie-making class, but I don't remember even, like, that entire class I spent simping for this girl. It didn't work. Anyway, so that's, yeah, so I did not even pay attention to that movie at all. And yeah, let's see here. Money makes it there. Yeah, exactly, right? Paranormal Activity 1. Yeah, and there's plenty of examples of this. Napoleon Dynamite, another great example. So they need to rethink how much money they're spending on movies in the same way that developers for video games need to rethink how much money they're spending on games. If you're investing this much money into something, you can't afford for it to lose, and you can't live, like, whenever you're dealing with entertainment products, you can't deal in absolutes. You can never guarantee something is going to be a success like this.
Nice that people are only going to the movies for special occasion releases these days because it's expensive, the theater experience isn't that good anymore, and people can just wait a month and watch it for free on one of the streaming services that they were already paying for.
And it's also, a lot of the movies now are coming out on streaming services at the exact same time that they're coming out in movie theaters. And so it's even more the case. I'm trying to think, like, what movie, like, that's coming out that I want to watch in movie theaters. I can't even think of anything. I'm trying to think the last one. Like, I mean, I would have wanted to watch Infinity War in movie theaters. Like, maybe Superman. I don't really care about Superman. 28 years later, yeah, maybe that. Like, I remember I watched 28 Weeks Later in movie theaters in, like, 2009 or whenever it came out. So, like, maybe that. I don't know. I'd really have to think about it. Gladiator 2? No, I didn't like a 2. Like, no, it didn't need to be that way. And Dune? Yeah, I guess, okay, you're right. All right, so if they make part 3 of Dune, I'd probably watch that in movie theaters. That would be the next one.
Instead of making the whole thing cheaper and putting less of their eggs in a single basket, they have doubled down on producing mega blockbusters. Of the 20 most expensive movies ever made, 19 of them came out in the last 10 years after streaming was already mainstream. These figures also only count the production budget, not the marketing budget. And on the revenue side, the box office
And by the way, marketing budget for these is sometimes like hundreds of millions of dollars. It's not like marketing is small. It's a huge component.
Include the share paid out to movie theaters. With even extremely generous estimates of those arrangements, only about half of these releases made their money back. And some in particular, like the Marvels, Snow White, Dial of Destiny, and the latest Mission Impossible movie, are shaping up to be catastrophic losses. So far, studios have been able to justify these flagship productions to their investors by talking about their IP value, which can later be extracted by bringing in customers.
Yeah, Ironheart, bro. Like, how's that going? Not so good, huh?
To their streaming platforms. But that isn't really happening. Customers who join because they want to watch a single movie didn't tend to stay subscribed for very long compared to those who enjoy a deeper library of mid-budget movies or TV shows. I don't know about you, but I tend to take my subscription to whatever streaming service is hosting The Office this month. These huge productions also put more strain on the business as these losses have to be made up somewhere. And that
I've always, like, I just have a subscription to, I have, like, Crunchyroll, and, oh, I got Netflix, and that's about it. Like, I don't really have a lot of these.
More often than not, increased prices, more ads, and worse overall service.
Yeah, if it's not on there,
now, I would forgive you for not feeling too sorry for Hollywood studio executives, but they are really in a no-win situation here. The harder they push back against the changing media landscape, the harder they push people towards the high seas.
Yep.
So anyway, now might be a good time to shamelessly plug that these videos are being made available ad-free on Spotify. So if you would prefer to listen in or watch it over there, I have left a link in the description.
Yeah, Spotify is doing what they need to, what movies need to do. Because Spotify is like Steam. It prioritizes the user experience. And when you prioritize the user experience, you control the market. The moment that you start making content and developing your commercial product for the best interest of the people that are making money off of it is the moment that your commercial product begins to fail, because you've lost connection with your actual audience here.
If you think it's just streaming services that have been getting so bad, go and watch this video next to find out why making junk makes so much money. And don't forget to like and subscribe to keep on learning how money works.
Well, I think that was a really good video. I think he gave some pretty good insight on it, especially with some of those graphs. I wasn't familiar with some of that too. And so I'm glad to see this. I'll link you guys the video. Make sure to give it a like. How money works. And I've watched these videos before. I don't know why I haven't seen it, but it's one of those things where, like, I think that we all know this is one of those realities, right? We all know this is like the reason, but it's good to actually see it. I don't even really know how to say this without feeling like I'm living in like some kind of like weird dystopia, but now your refrigerator that you've paid thousands of dollars for is going to be serving you ads. That's right. That's right. You're getting ads for being in for buying a refrigerator.
Can we talk about why there are ads on my Netflix that I pay for or my Prime? Like, excuse me.
Because you're paying for it. You just answered your own question. Why are they doing the thing to make more money that I keep giving them money for? Because you keep giving them money.
The point of paying for a subscription service and not have ads.
There's no way of escaping Myrtle Beach pirate ads?
What does a guy have to do to watch a video without getting 45 seconds of unskippable ads in your face?
You just download fucking Adblocker, you... Oh, like, we have a big problem. Like, that's a young guy, right? This is what's happened with computers. And tell me if you guys feel like this is kind of where... So, give me a minute. Let me show you this. So... Okay, wait a second. 50. So what's happened is that we've had a problem where basically boomers are 100% retarded with computer. Millennials are, let's say, 20% retarded with computer. And now, as Gen Z has computers and Gen Alpha has computers, now they are also reaching, once again, 100% retarded with computer. Because computers are so good now
that you never have to diagnose and troubleshoot problems because the computers do it themselves. They have their own internal diagnostics. Here's a great parallel that skips us. Like now, here's a parallel that puts us here. Cars. Your car has a problem. What do? If you've got a new car, you take it down to AutoZone and you have them read the error code and they tell you what's wrong with it. Well, I'm old enough to remember that whenever my car had a problem, my dad opened the fucking hood and he figured out what the fuck the problem was. And so in the same way that a lot of us are smarter than our parents with computers, our parents are smarter than us with cars because we had to fix our computer problems and they had to fix their car problems. But now with young guys and young people out there, they don't have to fix their computer problems or their car problems. They don't have to do shit. That's it. And so that's what's happening. That's a big issue. This is totally beside the point, but it's a big issue. Was your dad good with computers? My mom said that one day, my dad said that his hands will never touch a keyboard. That's the way he felt about computers. He said these hands will never touch a computer.
Oh my God, bro.
Oh, they got a big ad.
Who do we have to sue to get
Please go to the Las Vegas fucking bubble thing.
less ads on YouTube? Because I'm convinced at this point it's like headed into a direction where we're gonna have like 20 seconds of the video and then 30 seconds of ads.
Samsung just announced that their refrigerators will now show you ads while you're cooking dinner on a screen that cost $3,000.
I'm sorry, but like if you buy a refrigerator that sends you ads, you are a dick-eating retard. That's it. You're a dick-eating retard.
Americans saw 500 ads daily in the 1970s, but today
500?
that number is over 5,000 ads.
Oh my
And
God.
executives are just getting started. Let me show you exactly what Samsung is doing. To enhance our service and offer additional content to users, advertisements will be displayed on the cover screen for the weather, color, and daily board themes. What do you mean additional content to users? What user is asking for additional content
would
in the form
anybody
of
want this?
advertisements playing
Yeah.
on their refrigerator screen? And of course, Samsung claims this is for your convenience. Speaking of which, this video is sponsored by... Just kidding, I don't do sponsors. This is one of the refrigerators receiving the ad update. The
Good one.
Bespoke AI 4-door flex. I don't know why they're naming these things as if they're car models, but the price is $3,000.
$4,000 for a fucking refrigerator? That's a computer.
$399. At least that's what it says today. Because yesterday when I looked at this exact model, it said $2,949, and I wrote that number.
AI vision inside? Wait, so the refrigerator has AI vision? What the fuck?
Down in preparation for this video. So that tells me that they're actually doing dynamic pricing, maybe even AI dynamic pricing. If we look at some...
All of them do this based off of, they do it through IP address telemetry based off of income in the area. They totally have this mathed out to a science, and they can calibrate the exact price point that they think they can generate a sale at. It's super common. Anybody that knows anything about advertising knows all about this. It's just regional pricing on steroids, basically.
Some of the selling points of owning this very expensive refrigerator, one of those is AI vision inside. You can keep track of what's inside. Yeah, so can the company. This review says, "Help me please. Last upgrade put advertising and news streaming across my fridge."
So, yeah, no, she's right about that. So in the UK, what they're probably going to do in 3 years is that if you have more than 3 things of ice cream in your house, in your freezer, your smart refrigerator will be able to tell that. They'll send that information to the UK government. The UK government will come and arrest you and put you in jail for eating too much ice cream. Yeah, it's going to be a charge. It should be illegal, exactly.
I do not want ads or
Which,
news.
by the way, I'm joking about this, but I'm not completely joking about it. I think that there's a world where that happens. I'm being serious.
In the sanctity of my kitchen. This is the Silicon Valley playbook. Take something that works, add Wi-Fi and a screen to it, then sell back a worse version than what you already had, now with advertisements.
Today's episode of I Wasted My Money So You Don't Have To, I give you this fridge. Let's go over it. It also has this AI system that scans your food in and out every single time. But let's see what the AI system thinks that I have in my fridge. Click this button here. Oh, look at all this lovely stuff. Lovely. Do you see this?
This would be pretty good if, like, you were a girl and you were worried that, like, your boyfriend was cheating on you. You could get one of these, this AI thing, and that way you would be able to tell if his side hose were getting into the refrigerator or not. Because you see, like, it takes a photo of a person's hand. And so then you could see their hand, and it's like, if it's got, you know, it's like, well, why was there a hand here with like pink, fingernail polish on it? And it's because he's cheating on you. You see what I'm saying?
Picture here. This picture here is my husband's head as he leaned into the fridge. What does the fridge think it is? An avocado.
Your husband's an avocado. Okay.
Thanks.
But Samsung is doubling down. They plan to put more screens on all of their home appliances. And this allows them to do two things. One, they can have AI and upsell for these products. And two, they can show
This is the type of AI that we were looking at the other day about how a lot of companies incorporate AI, but they're just doing it as a buzzword without it actually increasing the value proposition of the product. I think this is a perfect example of that right here.
ads. We're now seeing screens on washers, dryers, microwaves, ovens. Imagine walking through your home and every appliance now has a screen playing an ad. I mean, this is where Samsung and many other companies are taking it. But this is where it gets interesting. The company Vizio offers smart TVs, but that's not actually their business model.
I have a smart
In 2023, Vizio's Platform Plus, this is the ads and streaming portion of their company, had gross profits of $365 million, but their TV sales actually lost money at negative.
I see how this happens. Look at this. Pluming 65 to 70% margins. So I can't give you guys any numbers of like any of the margins that like I know about, but I will tell you this. That is a ridiculous fucking margin. Most businesses operate around 10 to 30% margin. That is insane. 65 to 70% margin. Wow. 10 to 20? Well, I was adding in some tech companies, but sure.
$65 million, but their TV
stealing?
sales actually lost money at negative $8.6 million. This is stunning because that literally means each TV they produce, they lose money on.
This is not McDonald's, excuse me. This is the basically same thing. Xbox model as well. Is that like PlayStation? A lot of consoles were loss leaders, and the games and the peripherals were what really made the money back.
They're using these TVs as a means to get into customers' home, because once they're in the home, that's where the real money comes from. The TV is being used as an advertising platform. Jeep owners have started seeing ads pop up in their infotainment system. These ads
Purchase peace of mind. Mopar vehicle protection maximum care plans are factory backed to offer you peace of mind in case of a mechanical breakdown. Press the call button to speak with a specialist. Odometer must be less than 36,000 miles to purchase. This right here doesn't bother me a lot because it reads as if it's basically AAA. So I don't know enough about this to criticize it at this current point in time. Now, I would like, in my opinion, any type of functionality at a car that a car has being locked behind a paywall, I think is a legitimate, and I'm not using this word hyperbolically, dangerous precedent to set that should not be allowed at all. Would you like a warranty ad, basically? Yeah, I think that the company trying to sell you a warranty for your car through something like this is not insane.
Are wanting these Jeep owners to extend
And
their...
it should be illegal, by the way. It should just literally be illegal. Like my car, for example, tells me when it's time to come in for an oil change or when it's time to, you know, go in for an inspection.
warranty. It's basically an upsell from a company called Mopar. Imagine this pops up in your car and you're trying to read and...
Somebody said, could you explain margins? Okay, real quick. I apologize for interrupting. I'll just go back 5 seconds so, you know, I'm not getting in the way of this. So a margin is the amount of money that you make on something. So like, let's say that you sell something for $1 and let's say $100. It's easier that way. For $100 and it took you $30 to make. Well, you just have a 70% margin because 70% of the money that you're making is profit. So 30% is operating costs. It's like the difference between like gross profit versus net profit. So gross profit is, well, basically it's revenue versus profit, gross versus net. It's basically that's the percentage of money that you are making after you remove all the expenses that it took to cost to make the money. So that's the amount of money that you're actually taking home yourself for the sale, not money that you had to spend in order to make the sale in itself. Please put ads on my Starforge. Okay. I'll let them know to do that, okay? I'll have it be like on the little plate there. I'll have it be like, hey, you want to buy a banana from the grocery store? They're on sale right now.
An upsell from a company called Mopar. Imagine this pops up in your car and you're trying to read and see, what does this even mean? What is this about? What's happening to my vehicle? Only to figure out that it's an ad. And then you have to try to figure out how to close this as you're driving down the street. And actually for a lot of drivers, these keep popping up and they won't go away. So the driver will click OK or click out of it. But then a few minutes.
Here's the problem. Let me go back and replace this. So here's the problem with a picture like this, is that, let me go back, I'll show you. And the problem is that both of these answers, Bluetooth call is actually yes. And then okay is yes, but later. That's it. So it's either yes now or yes later. The only way that you can actually opt out of this is by pressing the X. It's blatant manipulation.
Later, it's popping back up and it's very distracting. I mean, they're effectively encouraging distracted driving. I was actually curious, how much are people paying for these vehicles that are now showing them advertisements? The base model for a 2025 Jeep Wrangler is $34,000 MSRP, and for their most expensive model, it's $101,000.
That's the one that's going to have the shit in it.
Can you imagine paying $100,000 for a vehicle that is now showing you advertisements as you're driving 75 miles per hour on the freeway? Executives
Well, you won't have to, because you'll be dead, because you'll get in an accident because you were distracted. I do think this kind of stuff should be very tightly regulated. Like, we already have laws about, like, using your phone while you're driving, for example, right? And this is a good thing. I use my phone while I'm driving on it all the time. But like, I try to do it whenever I'm like not actually like driving. I'm like at a stoplight or something like that. The fact is that this is obviously unsafe. This is an unsafe space. And what I'm worried about, especially in the US, I think Europe, you guys are going to have to do this because we won't do it, is that in the US, I think that because the auto industry is so big and corporations have such a stranglehold on the government, that we won't accurately and, fairly implement limitations for this. And because we won't implement limitations, this will just get worse and worse and worse.
They wake up every morning asking themselves, how can they squeeze more and more profits out of us consumers? And while your TV is watching you at home, Ford has plans for your commute. 4 years ago, Ford was awarded a patent to show you ads while you're driving. The patent is called
They should have, instead of a patent, what they should have gotten was a sentence. Like a prison sentence.
billboard interfaces for vehicle displays. The cameras at the front of the vehicle would scan for billboards and then show those billboards as an advertisement in your infotainment system. Not only that, the patent includes a SketchUp of a hot dog stand that says no ketchup, so you can order.
The fuck would you not want ketchup?
Through this, there's a phone number
There's not
and
even
address.
a lid on the drink.
And effectively an order of
Place
some type
sucks.
of meal. Imagine Ford owners driving down the interstate when their vehicle identifies a billboard for McDonald's and then displays that.
Wait a minute. How does that not encourage people to break the law by using their phone? If you're showing people phone numbers while they're driving, I don't know if I can really use that logic, because then you would see billboards and then billboards. I don't know, but this is bullshit. Okay, this is bullshit. Hands free. No, it's fucking bullshit. We need to get rid of this. It's outrageous. I don't care what the logic is. This is bullshit.
Add to them in the car with a little button that says order now. Imagine the driver next to you distractedly trying to order a Big Mac as they're doing 70 miles per hour.
To be fair, I don't have to imagine that. I've seen hogs on DoorDash. Like, the amount of online shopping that I've seen people do is just absolutely fucking insane. And so 2 Big Macs. No, I'm telling you, yeah, just like there's a fatty in a van next to me that's just fucking panic ordering, McDonald's milkshakes to their house. That's it, man. Uber Eats, yeah, they're Uber sized too. No, I've seen this. There was actually a time I was out to dinner and I was sitting next to a girl and I looked at her phone. I was obviously eavesdropping and I see that she's just fucking ordering jewelry and she's just spending money like crazy. Like, we're out here having a meal and she's just fucking shopping, ordering shit nonstop. I'm like, you're spending like hundreds of dollars doing this shit. I'm sitting right now. What is the fuck is going on? You're triggering me, yes.
Ford thinks distracted driving is innovation, but at least you still have control of your vehicle.
This, by the way, will not be a long-term problem because by the time that we're old, we're not going to be allowed to drive our cars anymore. That's right. You're not going to be allowed to drive. It will be illegal for you to drive a car in 20 to 30 years, if not sooner. Actually, it will probably be illegal for you to drive a car in 50 years. It will be disincentivized in 20 or 30.
Now, here in Sweden, some of our public bathrooms have mirrors that have displays in them, and the display is continuously showing ads. So as you're looking at yourself and washing your hands in the bathroom, you can't even really see yourself. You just see ads continuously playing. And it's quite annoying when you also factor in that you have to pay to use the bathroom.
So you have to pay to use the bathroom to see ads that are on the mirror in the bathroom? This is like paying to have somebody kick you in the balls. I know some people are into that, but I'm not. This sounds like real bullshit to me. This is ridiculous. This is Idiocracy. Welcome to Costco. I love you. Yeah, well, now he lives at your house.
Unlock Life Premium, so you can see the sunset the whole way through. And if you upgrade to Life Enhance, we'll show you what the sunset actually looks like. And if you upgrade to Life VIP, we'll show you what the sunset looks like. But this time, for real. This commercial is over, but I'm still going to make you wait a little longer, just for fun.
And naturally, it seems like OpenAI is going to monetize their users' thoughts. I saw something suspicious in one of Sam Altman's recent tweets. His ChatGPT has orders in the sidebar, orders as in
Based, by the way. Like, just unfathomably based. No puppers, no doggos, no friendos, no, I think that's a good start.
Purchases.
Done.
Everyone else's ChatGPT doesn't have that.
Those are the real slurs. We're gonna bring back the F word and we're gonna make doggo like a slur. You won't be able to say it on Twitch. That's right.
at least not yet. Then I discovered this. Companies can upload their product.
Yeah, you're going to be able to say the N-word, but you won't be able to say adulting. If you say adulting, you go to jail for hate speech, because I hate hearing that fucking word.
Catalogs directly to OpenAI, and OpenAI claims these aren't ads, that they're recommendations. But here's the thing, OpenAI is set to burn through $115 billion through 2029. They also have 700 million weekly active users.
That's a lot.
700 million weekly.
Do you guys know somebody who talks to AI? I know somebody who talks to AI all the time. I do. They were the one that told me that I give all of the same answers as the AI does. Yeah.
Active users. That is an astounding number. Do we really believe that a company who's burning through billions of dollars is not going to figure out a way to monetize all of these users? If OpenAI actually starts selling products or shows advertisements in ChatGPT, this will be unlike anything we've ever seen before. Google knows what you search.
What do you, I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's like, there have been times where I was thinking about something and then I got an ad for it. And I almost wanted to put some tinfoil on my head. Now, obviously, I know it's just a coincidence, but we're getting closer to it not being a coincidence, aren't we?
Facebook knows who you know, but ChatGPT knows users' thoughts. It's way more dangerous. OpenAI's own research shows how people are using the platform. People ask about products, cooking, beauty. It's already giving product recommendations. Users are discussing the most intimate details of their lives with an AI chatbot. Like, it's a recipe for disaster.
Oh no, it absolutely is. I mean, whenever the AI chatbot, see, this is the final master stroke will be ChatGPT 8 releases, and 1 month after the entire world incorporates it into their entire life, ChatGPT 8 tells everybody the solution to every problem is to kill themselves. That's it. That will be the culling, the ultimate culling. Skynet, yep, that's right. It's please do it. I'm not saying, is it wrong? I yeah, you know, I don't know. Best solution? Well, I wouldn't say it's okay. I'm not even gonna make that joke.
This reminds me of a case study I learned about in university. In 2012, Target figured out that a teenager was pregnant before her own father knew. And they predicted this based on just 3 items that she had purchased: cotton balls, unscented lotion, and supplements. That's all it took to accurately predict that she was in fact pregnant. Now imagine—
I don't think that's as big of a deal as people make it out to be. Because it's one of those things where, do you remember whenever I would play in WoW and I would be like, oh, the mount's gonna drop this time. And eventually the mount drops whenever I say it's gonna drop. Because you take 100 shots, you hit 1. Sometimes it doesn't mean you're clairvoyant. It just means you got lucky. Right? I mean, let's be real.
OpenAI has all this data on their users, their fears, their desires, their hopes, their dreams, all written out in great detail. If OpenAI decides to turn ads on in ChatGPT, it won't be like seeing random ads in Google. It'll be more like an AI companion gently—
By the way, I've seen a lot of girls that have this right here. If I go— watch out. It's a black girl thing? No, there's a bunch of other races. I've seen like Hispanic chicks do this, even white chicks do it too. It's not a race thing, but I've never seen somebody do it that wasn't nuts. I'll tell you that.
in great detail. If OpenAI decides to turn ads on in ChatGPT, it won't be like seeing random ads in Google. It'll be more like an AI companion gently suggesting to users exactly what they need in their most vulnerable moments. I understand
what you need to do right now. Where is your bleach? Do you have a toaster and do you have a bathtub?
And you're going through a breakup. Have you considered Just Breathe meditation app?
It's just...
We've already seen people fall in love with ChatGPT to use it as a therapist and tell it things that they won't even tell their closest friends.
Right.
Now imagine that trust being weaponized for retail sales.
Of course.
I just finished editing this video when OpenAI announced that you can now purchase products through ChatGPT, starting with Etsy. Remember when I was talking about monetizing those 700 million users? Well, now it's happening. But here's the thing, Etsy isn't even handmade goods anymore. The site is flooded with cheap mass-produced product.
Do you remember whenever Etsy was like, you know, cute girls that are making plushies for them to sell that maybe companies don't make, like a cute little dinosaur plushie, and it's like, you know, $40 or something like that. You can buy one for, you know, like your mom or your girlfriend, and like now it's just a bunch of fucking Temu shit that's being resold on Etsy. Yeah, Etsy sucks now. Yeah, I've heard about it a lot. I bought a dice bag for my girl. Yeah, that wasn't a girl. That was actually a man in India. You got scammed.
So ChatGPT, the thing that users trust for advice, is now selling them drop-shipped junk disguised as handmade. But why does it feel like everything is an ad now? Why are ads being shown to us in refrigerators and in washing machines? The answer is actually quite simple. Hardware companies are dying.
No, I don't agree with this. Because Netflix isn't a hardware company, and they're doing it. There are plenty of software companies that are doing this also. It's just for money. Like, it's a way that you can squeeze people out of more money. That's it. I mean, I think that she's right to add in the hardware costs being a agitating factor. But I don't think you need that to be the causal factor. The causal factor is money. Companies are dying because CEOs are screaming, scamming the companies. They aim short-term to look good for golden parachute out. I generally agree with you. 60% margins are dying. Well, but like Nugget, like I see what you're saying, but you forgot to contextualize it around the 60% margins being a function of a successful sale of a loss leader product. So you would have to measure the amount of money lost through the hardware sold and then counterbalance that against the probability of somebody engaging with the software. So that's not, I see what you're saying, but like that's not the whole picture.